in E flat because it's in the same key.
Really? Is it really? Is that E flat? Is it?
Can you play it? Yeah, match it to him.
Yeah.
Match it to him.
So today's guest is a bassist, guitarist, pianist, songwriter, and producer with the sexiest hair in show business. He and his two brothers, Joss and Jake, along with their childhood friend Danny Wagner, make up the already legendary rock band Greta Van Fleet. He's toured around the world playing on some of the biggest stages, including performances on Stephen Colbert's show, Jimmy Fallon, SNL, and even shared the stage with the homie Elton John. He is a Grammy winner who's always rocking the stage. Barefoot, baby! Coming to us live with a lobster and a beer, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Kiszka.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is a great Saturday night date.
This is a great Saturday night day, man. The fact that you have the white piano behind you, I feel like at some point during this, you might have to turn around and play us a little ditty.
Oh yeah, I got Jimmy showing up in 20 minutes. He's gonna play some lounge piano. Relax, smoke a cigar or two.
I like that. Oh, I didn't even realize the whole time that you had a bib on. That was beautiful.
Oh my, yeah, done eating right now already. I love it.
It's so delicious.
How do you like this beer, by the way? I know you're a beer connoisseur, to some say.
As in, I drink a lot of beer. I would say that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. I am an IPA fan. I mean, when you're looking for like beer that tastes like something, IPA is kind of the way to go.
Yeah.
What do you find yourself drinking on the road normally?
Well, that's funny because I've been through all the phases. And the last one that I was going through right before touring stopped was beer. And you know what's wrong with beer when you're playing an hour 45 show? That you have to pee.
You have to pee.
I've had to pee in dumpsters off stage. It's like, oh, it's drum solo time. I gotta piss.
So when you're in a show and you really do have to pee, do you just quickly walk off stage, or do you what have you because I've done that in a show where I've had to walk off and pee, so I totally understand. And I was almost questioning, do I pee my pants or something? Like, to keep going? I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I like to think that we're professional enough to not have to put ourselves in that situation, but it does happen. And actually, I've peed behind my bass amp before.
No.
Show.
Are you serious? With your bass still on you?
Yes. I'm like, oh!
That's incredible.
But and beer, because it's not too easy to overdo. But I feel like whiskey. Brian, do you have a drink of choice?
That's a good question. I would, like a couple years ago, I probably would have said whiskey. These days, whiskey got the best of me, and it was a great time. I can't complain about that at all. But these days, I would say it's beer, but I don't necessarily have like a specific beer that I go to all the time. It's always changing.
I know. You got to keep it rotating.
Yeah.
Life is about rebirth. That's why we must drink different beer all the time.
Exactly, and you don't know what type of moment you'll have with a certain beer, and you never expect the fact that you could have that moment with that beer.
What kind of dogs do you have, Sam?
We've got a big old pit head, and we've got a little mutt girl, lab mix.
They're so cute. They're so cute, dude. Yeah.
And I'm assuming your lady takes care of them, you know, when you're away touring, or do you bring them with you? What's the deal?
She doesn't let me. I always say that I'm going to take the dogs, but
No way she will. No way. No. Young Jeezy is the most loving dog mother you will ever meet, and there's no way in hell that she would ever let those dogs go with Sam on the road. I know that for sure.
I thought the dog's name was Juice.
you're right.
No.
Young Jeezy, yeah. Good girl.
No, dude. Stevie Nicks.
Yep.
That's
Steve.
one of the dogs. Yeah. They're looking at me like, okay, what are you going to say next? Stevie Nicks? Yeah, we know the singer.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole statement.
That's it. Yeah, that's all I got. That's one of the dog's names. What's the other dog's name, by the way?
Named after powerful women. So Stevie from, kind of off of Stevie Nicks, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Rest in peace.
I love that. That's
Beautiful
powerful. Rest in peace.
Hey, cheers to that.
Yeah,
cheers to
Ruth.
that. Cheers to that. To
Yes,
Ruth. Yeah,
absolutely.
cheers.
Cheers, brother. Dude, so let's move to this lobster roll, man. So we send you the Get Maine lobster roll. And tell me about the special ingredient that you chose to put on this.
I went to Turnip Truck, right?
Ooh. Oh, yes. I love Turnip Truck.
Remember.
I love Turnip Truck. Yes.
It's made by Haven's Kitchen. It's Zippy Chili Harissa. Bam. Oh, that's my hematoma too, right there.
Is that hematoma? That's not a painted nail? The rest are plank. Wow.
Go out of style. No, but yeah, I like a nice zesty kind of thing. I'm really into peppers and
Yeah.
just like that oomph. But yeah, it's nice and smooth, and I don't know. I just thought it would complement it, kind of give it like a Creole kind of feel.
So should I dip it? Should I dip the roll into the sauce, or should I drizzle the sauce on top of the roll?
I just committed. I went for it. I just drizzled around.
You went for full drizzle? Okay, Chef Sam says full drizzle.
Full drizzle. Put it on.
By the way, I just looked to my right at Alec, and Alex is already gone.
Eaten. And I'm going to be honest again, we've had a lot of different tastes with different people's choices, and I got to say, this really goes. You get a little sweetness, the spice, it is money.
Do you have a personal favorite? How did you, or how would you customize this, Brian?
Okay, so growing up, eating lobster, it was always the main style of tossing the lobster in mayonnaise.
Classy man.
Very classy. But I almost revert back to it's not classy. Like, I feel like the classy thing is you get the fresh lobster, you drizzle the butter, and you just need a little seasoning on it. And it's fine. Actually, this harissa sauce tastes really good on it.
Mine's already gone.
Yeah.
I probably could drink this sauce with it. So wow, this might be my number one pairing so far.
Number one? That's a full statement. So I'll be honest. So Sam, let's talk about when we started the show. We said we will be very deliberately honest about how we feel about each ingredient that each guest brings to the roll. So the fact that he just said that this is your favorite right now.
I think it's my favorite, and Scott's was really good. He had some hot sauce and some basil. Yeah. But I gotta say, Sam, I think you have the number one taste right now. The flavor with the lobster roll and stuff. Wow, that really goes together.
Yeah. It's not a competition, though. It's not a competition, but
it's not. But we might have to carry on with the Sam Kiszka roll.
I think we have a thing now. Yeah, absolutely.
So good. Delicious. This is rad.
I'm enjoying this a lot.
What do you normally find yourself eating on the road and stuff?
It got a little difficult 3 years ago because I went vegetarian, and of course I make exceptions for a lot of shellfish, especially, and just fish in general, because I'm a big sucker for seafood. So after show food is a very strange thing because you get done and it's going on 11:30, midnight. And sometimes if you're playing little tiny towns, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. You don't know what you're going to get. So touring food is like crazy. I would prefer some Indian, some fresh kind of Asian food. Even sushi's really good for, staying light, not being too weighed down. But yeah, the times that you have to eat, you have to like really plan it out. It's like, okay, so an hour before show is good. It's not, you don't feel weighed down and you don't feel hungry halfway through. So yeah, all kinds of stuff, but that's what I dig. I mean, I love food. I think that's one of the best things about traveling around the world is getting other people's interpretations of what food is and what food means to the culture and the home.
What have you missed the most since this past year? Obviously, you've been off the road because of the crisis. What food have you missed the most when you're on the road? I
would say seafood like this.
Yeah.
Because let's say we're traveling through the West Coast. Let's say we're, East Coast, Gulf Coast. They're all good. But being here in Nashville, there's very limited option as to, what fresh fish is, fresh oysters and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You're going through stopover at Boston. And I mean, every time we stop through Boston, we sit down for some oysters.
Yeah. Do you remember any spots you actually went to in Boston? Just to... I don't remember.
I'm gonna text my brother Jake. And then we'll revisit this.
We'll revisit this. Yes, I love that. I love that. Get that info.
What about growing up, where you guys grew up in Michigan and stuff? Did you have any favorite spots? You grew up in a really small town, right?
It was how do you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Frankenmuth?
Or Frankenmuth?
Yeah. Super chicken. And it's kind of funny. It's known for this Zender's world famous chicken. And our joke was always you got there and you tasted it and you're like, this isn't that good. It's not, they never said it was good. It's just world famous.
Oh, they had the title. Great branding.
Great branding. Good job, guys.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
But no, I mean, around us, there really is not much. There's a new development in Frankenmuth, new as in like 3 years or so, called Prost. And every time I go home, that's a place that I find myself getting into. Because, the Midwest, I mean, there's just not a lot of kind of vegetarian ideals there. It's very...
Is the Prost based off of, isn't that Cheers in German?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Prost.
Prost!
Okay.
Prost!
Cheers, my brother.
I feel like you guys and you yourself, you have a real rebellious vibe to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Did that kind of come from, you guys wanting to build that in your rocker image and homage to the old school people? Or did that come from you guys growing up and where you grew up from?
I think the latter. I think sometimes I feel really silly talking about social issues that are very much real.
Yeah.
Because I came from such a sheltered community with so much opportunity. And I mean, we got out here in the real world very quickly. I mean, we were playing bar rooms at 13 years old, like real ugly stuff.
But at 13, so you were playing for what, like 30-year-olds and stuff, rocking out?
Oh yeah, probably much older than that. Lots of drugs. Like you would walk in the bathroom and I saw people hit and blow off the toilet seat at like 12 years old.
Wow.
In a little White's bar in Saginaw, Michigan. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, but I think I kind of talking about opportunity. But once we got onto the world with this great opportunity to go out and be a part of this global society and having a way to go and see different cultures and go to see how different people live and the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich and everything in between. And I think that's the kind of the job of an artist is to understand the social climate, the political climate, and be able to talk about these things. Perhaps not provide answers. I mean, that's not our job as artists to provide answers. Is to identify issues. And I think that there's a lot to say about this generation. But as far as Frankenmuth goes, I would say that it was a very organized, normal, ordinary community. And I think that really gave us this sense of urgency to rebel, because we always felt like we were being, put in this box of a society, like where there's a lot of social norms, like, oh, you can't dress like that. You can't wear Hawaiian shirts in December, guys. It's like, okay, but yes, you can. So it wasn't hard to stick out in Frankenmuth and be different. And I think that's kind of what I fell in love with, is being different. I mean, that's the beauty about humanity, isn't it? Every person is a snowflake. Every person is unique.
Or where did your guys' unique style come from, and yours specifically?
I think it was just a real kind of expression thing. And that's what I love about clothes, is that it really, you can dress a certain way and it lets people know exactly who you are and what you're about. And there's kind of initial reaction that, somebody else will have, the way that they'll perceive you. And I think that we all kind of emote that we don't really fucking care what people think.